What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Warning, Do Not Play on Shudder. Now, Warning, Do Not Play just came out on Shudder this week, and apparently the movie has been made back in 2019, so it is a new movie technically for us because we haven't seen it, but it might have been at some festivals before. This movie was directed and written by Jin-won. The story is about a girl who is an amateur film director trying to get her big break. Apparently, she's been writing this movie for about 8 years and is suffering a lot of writer's block and stumbles upon a real-life story where a director actually made a movie called Warning that scared the ever-living piss out of people. And as she solves the mystery of this original film, she sort of ties it into her own writing. Not sure if it's directly a nod to borrowing material from other people's work in some regards, or just topical. Now, this movie is a very meta film, and what I mean by that is that sort of like a film within a film or creativity within creativity, which is highly appealing to me because I love high concept stuff like this. But if you're going to be making a movie about a character who's hunting down the scariest movie of all time, you better bring the goods. And also, it reminded me of another movie that attempted something very similar to this that was done in the Masters of Horror called Cigarette Burns, which is sort of a similar story to this, but without spoiling anything, of course. I don't think meets those expectations. So if you're a fan of Cigarette Burns, you may like this because of that high concept sort of meta story, but it may fall flat for you like it did for me. Now, there were some actual atmospheric moments that really had a lot of high tension with a great soundtrack that I was actually kind of digging, especially in the beginning of the movie as it sort of unravels to the audience and the viewer. I was actually kind of enthralled with what was going to happen. It even got my brain working in the very beginning as to what this movie may be about very early on, and I actually came up with my own little story that is nothing like this film. Some ways was inspired by that, but it is nothing like it. It was where my imagination went before I saw what the movie was even going to be. But still, this is a decent film. It's not bad. I think some people will enjoy it, but I feel like this is a movie that will fall flat for a little bit of the audience that watches it. It does have some of that sort of Korean horror vibe to it that you may have seen in other films, but it is a little bit different. I just feel like the sort of antagonist or scary bit that was supposed to be scary in this kind of underperformed. The acting and some of the reactions that the people had were all fine. Some of the story elements were pretty decent, although it got so meta that it almost became kind of too much. A little too much to swallow, and it became so rapid by the end that you're kind of like, where's the horror? Like, there is a lot of horror, don't get me wrong. I don't want to upset you guys because I know some of you are going to enjoy this movie, and that's awesome. I'm glad if you did enjoy it. But for me, I really feel like it just fell really flat for me, especially being a fan of John Carpenter's Cigarette Burns, which is a amazing hour-long episode of Masters of Horror Season 1. It's probably one of the most standout ones. But Warning, Do Not Play isn't a bad movie. I think it has some good ideas, some great atmosphere. I definitely can see some potential in the director, that's for sure. But I can't help but feeling that, again, it just didn't reach my expectations one way or another. It kind of lost me in some of its storytelling, even if it was somewhat interesting and did inspire me to think creatively, because it is pretty creative. So I would have to say that I would give this movie probably a 6 or a 6.5 at the most. It has potential. It does have some atmosphere and everything that I've mentioned, but it's a high concept that just under-delivers. But that's what I think, and that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments section down below. I still think it's worth a watch, and maybe it'll be better for other people than it will be for my personal experience. If you're new here and this is your first time watching the video and you enjoy this kind of content, we do it regularly as well as video hauls and even podcasts, so please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for spending your time here with me, and as always, long live the void.